Today on Lake Commandos. It's an annual rite of fall, a massive migration of giant river smallmouth from scattered summer haunts to concentrated wintering holes. It's a tailor-made situation for a commando showdown. But when your opponent sticks a monster off the dock before you can even get the boat in the water, all bets are off.
I love fishing new water. The challenge is always the same. Find fish, trigger strikes. Ooh, that's a big fish. But what I really love is beating the other guy. I got a fish. This is Lake Commandos.
A rolling river, cool temperatures, and a shoreline covered in brilliant fall colors. To smallmouth bass enthusiasts, those are the ingredients for one of the hottest bites of the year. And today, Steve Pennaz and veteran pro angler Mark Courts are going to reignite what has become an annual commando conflict. 2 years ago, this rivalry began when Mark beat Steve in a natural lake largemouth bass battle.
Beauty.
Go, Steve.
That's not fish, that's icing. I think that's icing.
Last year, Steve got some payback in a quest for big water pike.
Whoa! Look at that.
And now these two die-hard Lake Commandos will settle the score with a search for trophy river smallmouth. Their mission is straightforward. Find and catch smallmouth bass on a mid-sized river in the fall.
You know, fall fishing can be feast or famine. These fish can move in. You've got changing conditions. This particular river stretches for 100 miles up this stream, but it gets shallower the further north you go. The fish that are up there will make a migration in the fall and hold in winter in this area because it's deeper water just above the dam. This is a pattern that holds across the country in terms of wintering smallmouth. Try those bodies of water, they're dynamite.
You know, here it is, river situation, it's fall. You can tell from behind me here, the river's low. I've got Steve Pennaz right in my sights. He's got no chance. My choice today, flicker shad, number 6, black gold sunset. Smallmouth feed on crayfish 90% of the time. I mean, that's their number 1 forage, have their heads down on the rocks eating crayfish. Well, the black gold sunset is truly a crawfish match. I mean, it's match to the hatch. 8-pound nanofill, long distance casts to an 8-pound, 100% trilene fluorocarbon leader to the black gold sunset, number 6 flicker shad. Steve Pennaz, watch out, I'm coming for you.
The challenge with Mark, he's talked smack. The problem is he can actually back it up.
Hey, I got one!
You can't fish yet!
Big walleye.
Is it?
No, big smallie. Wow. Wow. A tank. A tank. Well, Steve's sitting here doing his interview, getting ready. I am catching giant smallmouth right from the dock. Steve Pennaz, I don't care what you choose, you're going down today.
Come on, man. I think we're gonna have a great day. He just caught a 5 off the dock before we even launched the boat. By the way, crankbaits I think are gonna work today, but you know, my choice is actually a different pattern. We're gonna be covering a lot of water. The water's low. If these fish are holding out near the edge, I wanna have a jig so I can have the flexibility of going shallow or going deep. I'm gonna go to a roller jig. This is a 1/2 ounce version. I've got another rod rigged up with a 1/4 ounce version, but the key is this 3-inch Berkley trigger craw. These fish munch on crawdads, and you can see from all the rock in the river, this roller jig's gonna bounce off and along it. This is the rig that's gonna take Mark Courts down today.
Even though Mark's head start dock monster won't count toward the final score, it's obviously a great sign as the guys get the boat in the water and get the game underway.
Hey, I'm gonna insist today. Normally I let the challenger pick first or second. I want you to go first today because Well, you're throwing crankbaits. I think it's a good move based on what we just seen already. But
The Commandos will fish Mark's flicker shad pattern for the first 2 hours, switch to Steve's roller jig program for the second 2 hours, then decide on the best presentation for the final 2 hours. In the end, the guy that lands the most bronze backs wins.
Fish! Whoa, come on now.
first one.
Do you need help?
No.
Oh, you got that little guy?
No, but will you get the net for me? I like your pattern right there. And by the way, I agree with you on the craw colors.
You can never go wrong.
No.
I mean, smallmouth's #1 forage, crawdads.
Yeah.
They were catching trophies before they even got the boat in the water, and it took less than a minute to catch the first official fish. We better strap in and hang on tight, because it looks like this is going to be one wild smallmouth ride.
Nice.
Lake Commandos is brought to you by Ranger Boats, still building legends one at a time. Trilene, Anglers Trust Berkley Trilene. Abu Garcia, for life. Power Pole, shallow water anchor. Swift, silent, secure. Garmin, the clearest scanning sonar images on the water. And by Plano, protect your passion. Steve Pennaz and Mark Courts are on a mid-sized river chasing fall smallmouth bass. They've started the competition fishing Mark's Berkley flicker shad pattern, and the bite is on.
There might be a fish here. Oh, there's fish. No! Are you gonna come get the net?
No, it's a sheephead. What is it?
Well, is there any doubt what that
Oh,
is?
it's a smallie. You want the net for that little one?
No, I got him.
Okay. Uh-oh, we're tied.
Steve continues to say we're tied, but the way I've got this counted, it's 2-1.
We're not doing Courts math here today. Oh yeah, big fish. Net, dude.
Oh,
please.
net.
Net.
You notice how this works, folks. I asked for a net. No, I don't get a net. Now, granted, I didn't need a net for mine, but
God, these things are so strong.
oh,
Ooh, that's a
what a
bruiser. Yes,
What a
look at that stud.
nice job.
Oh man, look at that dude. That's the second fish in this little area. Now that fish ate away from shore. Look at that one. That's not the big as the one that you had in the dock, Mark, but boy, solid fish.
Just nice fish. And that's one of
Yeah.
the things about river smallmouth, Steve, is they're even meaner than a lake smallmouth.
Yeah.
They're just built for pure power. When it came to picking the flicker shad, you know, I chose a 6. And the reason being is I actually think the 6 has a quicker dive curve than what the 7 does. 7 will get deeper, but it takes longer to achieve that depth, where that 6 is a little bit more aggressive, tends to dive a little bit faster. So for casting, 6 is probably my go-to bait. You know, Steve, when me and you look at this bank, we look at it a little bit different than what a lot of people do. And what I'm noticing is where we've got these little transitions between, you know, sand to a little P-rock or a little bigger boulder to
Yep.
these giant boulders. And those are key areas that I really look for. You know, it's just not a bank to me. I'm constantly paying attention to the shoreline.
That's a good point, Mark. And one of the things I like about fishing rivers is you got a lot of current clues too. You can see where the current lines are, the eddies are, and all these key fish holding areas. Fish.
Nice.
Yes. Oh yeah. Right there. You know, we've been working this entire shoreline from this house all the way down. This is the first bite we've had. And what it is, it's a point. We've got good current hidden here. We got rock. Perfect spot for smallies. Hey, it'd be a big mistake to forget to maintain what brings my boat back and forth from the lake, and that's my trailer. Trailers are in and out of the water constantly, and if not properly maintained, they will malfunction. You may think that if you keep your tires at the correct pressure and your spare in good shape that you're covered. Those are important things, but let's go a little further. If you need to pack the bearings on your trailer, Yamalube marine grease is a must. I use it on my trailer tongue jack and my roller bearings to keep them moving smoothly. You'll want to coat moving parts like the winch with Yama Shield to protect them from the elements. Finally, hit the wiring contacts, brake drums or rotors with Yamalube brake and contact cleaner. Hey, they get wet and they corrode. This will help protect them. Proper trailer maintenance should not be overlooked when you're making up your maintenance schedule. When it comes to achieving peak performance, maintenance matters.
This segment is brought to you by Yeti Coolers. Yeti, wildly stronger, keep ice longer. Lake Commandos, Steve Pennaz, and Mark Courts are locked in a fall smallmouth slugfest. And even though they're using Mark's crankbait strategy, it's Steve who has the hot hand right now.
Fish. Fish.
Come on.
Yes. Jump.
You know, am
Ooh,
I
that's a
not
nice one.
supposed to have control of the boat here?
You got
Why
control.
are you up in my area trying to get to my fish first?
You should be netting my fish for me.
Well,
You're
here,
too
hand me the
busy.
net.
No,
I'll do it
you're
quick.
too busy up there. You're too busy controlling the boat.
Nice fish,
Whoa,
Steve.
what a stud.
That's a beauty.
Look at that. Yes, right there.
Pennaz jumped out to an early lead.
I'm getting in your head, man.
You're not getting in my head.
But as the first half continued, Mark made a solid comeback. And with just 4 minutes to go before giving up control and switching to Steve's jig pattern, Mark closed the gap to just one.
Fish? Yeah, you were right on it on that shelf. You in that?
Yes.
That's a good fish.
That's a good fish.
There you go.
Nice job.
Jeez, with 3 minutes left.
Another beautiful river smallmouth.
So, with just one fish separating them, the Commandos make a big presentation switch from Mark's fast and loud flicker shad to Steve's slow and subtle jig and plastic.
What I'm going to do is start off with a football style head. This is a 3/8 ounce head. I've got the 3-inch chigger craw. This football head is designed to walk across the bottom and kind of lift up and over rocks, and that's where that chigger craw really looks good. There's one. He ate it right off that rock. Yes. Chigger craw, baby. One of the keys today was the size of the jig. We needed a 1/2 ounce to get down quickly. We were fishing very steep banks and heavy current and with wind today. And what I wanted to do is cast that jig, let it fall to the bottom, lift, and let the current sweep it down from rock to rock. Fish. Ooh, this thing is fighting. Look at that. What is it? Oh, it's a nice smallie, big one. Look at the size of this one, Mark.
Nice.
Oh,
That's a tank.
Oh.
That is an awesome smallmouth, Steve.
That thing is huge.
Just like with the flicker shad, Pennaz is starting the jig bite on fire and rebuilding a solid lead.
I don't care where you are in the United States, that's a giant smallmouth.
That's a big fish.
But Mark Courts isn't one of the most successful professional tournament anglers in the country because he gives up. In fact, we guarantee this battle is far from over.
Ooh, nice fish.
There we go.
Nice.
Lake Commandos is brought to you by Yamaha Marine. Reliability starts here. Yeti, wildly stronger. Keep ice longer. Frayville, trusted gear since 1938. Berkley Power Bait. Fish bite and won't let go. And by Abu Garcia, for life. On a mid-sized river in the fall, the Lake Commandos have dialed in the big smallmouth. Steve has a commanding lead, but Mark Courts has that come-from-behind look in his eye.
Got him? Oh yeah, there's my fish.
It's a big brown one.
Is it?
Oh yeah.
Oh, nice fish. Here, let me get the net. One of the ones in that area.
There we go.
Ooh, that's a bruiser.
Nice fish.
Look at the size of that one.
Just like you said, Steve, that was at the bottom of the break down in that 15 foot of water.
Yeah.
Man, are these fish healthy though. I mean, just look at their bellies.
That's a tank.
The power bait, the chigger craw, the chigger chunk, that's one of the nice advantages of using that type of bait. It's scent impregnated. So these fish grab it and they hold on a lot longer than they would just a typical jig. And the other thing it does is just create so much more action on that jig.
You know, we found really 3 keys to our pattern today. One, we needed current. If we didn't have current, we weren't going to get bit. We needed rock, number 2, and we needed kind of a steep break. And this area has got all 3.
I think this is one of the areas where we caught one this morning.
Got him? It's a bruiser, right?
It's a bruiser.
Oh, look at the belly on that one. Oh, that's a stud. Jeez.
That's the neat thing about fishing a river though, is you can basically call your shots. I mean, you know, now that we've been on here on your pattern a couple hours, we start to see where these fish are sitting and just look at how healthy these fish are. But you start to realize where these fish are sitting and you can pretty much make a cast and say, I'm gonna get bit.
With the comeback nearly complete, the remainder of the day turns into a classic prize fight, with the guys going toe-to-toe, exchanging smallmouth blows.
There's 4 minutes left in the competition. I'm up by 1 fish hanging by the thread. Mark just had a bite. We got a school of fish off this little point right here. And I don't know. I'm trying not to fish too fast right now. We're moving. Whoa, that's a stud. Yes, look at that one. Yes! Ah!
You know, Steve, honestly, I think that's the winner right there. What a good way to end the show on a beautiful fall bronzeback. That's just absolutely a chunk.
Last cast of the day. That guy just ate.
I think the difference today is when you pick the black and blue jig versus the green pumpkin.
It was a color thing today. It was just a matter of color.
Yep.
It was a matter of color. But you know what? We've had some chunks. This isn't even the best fish of the day. This is just kind of one of the average that we are catching on the jigs. But I tell you what, I think that black and blue just left you black and blue.
It did, actually.
Winner of the grudge match! You know, it's interesting when you look at a map of a river, you can kind of follow the path of the current. And what Mark and I were looking for were areas of current that also broke into deep water and had rock. You see how the river went from wide to narrow right in here? When you have a narrow area in a river, you've got a lot more current. Here the lines are pretty wide, that means it's a very slow, gradual break line into the main river channel. Well, over here, they're super tight. And so we had just a real steep break. We'd cast up into about 4 or 5 feet of water and lift the jig and let the current wash these half-ounce jigs down. And all of a sudden we're in 15 feet, then we're in 18 feet. And these were these areas that we were catching lots of fish. You can see how we went back and forth a number of times just because it was such a good spot.
I mean, he put me at a disadvantage. We go to jig fishing, he has my stuff all tangled up in a big old ball, everything. It was messed up, screwed up. Yeah, go fishing. So he's up in the front of the boat catching fish one right after another. Well, no wonder why he get a little lead. Yeah, I mean, he needed that lead too.